Now we are going to discuss about three-phase wattmeter. So in a three-phase wattmeter, generally we have two sets of we have two sets of moving coils and fixed coils. We have two sets of moving coils and fixed coils. That means a three-phase wattmeter generally consists of two moving coils and two fixed coils, where both the moving coils are placed on a same spindle. Where both the moving coils are placed on the same spindle, right? That means a three-phase wattmeter connection is just similar to the measurement of power by a 2 wattmeter method, right? That means in a three-phase wattmeter is quite similar to the measurement of power by 2 wattmeter method. Since we are having two sets of moving coil and fixed coil, we are having two elements. We are having two elements where one element consists of, we are having two elements where each element consists of a set of pressure coil and current coil. That means in a three-phase wattmeter, generally we are having two sets of moving coils and fixed coils, where the moving coils are placed on the same spindle, and a element is said to be is nothing but a set of a pressure coil and a current coil. That means we are having two sets where one set is connected in one phase and other set is connected in the other phase in a three-phase system. That means a single set is producing a torque over here. So in a three-phase wattmeter, the net deflecting torque produced by the each element or produced by each set is directly proportional to the power measured by each element. That means the power which is measured by each element or each set is directly proportional to the net deflecting torque produced by that element. So in this case we are having two elements. So the constructional diagram of a three-phase wattmeter is shown like this. So it is having a current coil and it is having a pressure coil, right? So this is nothing but the constructional diagram of a three-phase system. So I am taking a star connected load here. So this is nothing but the constructional diagram of a three-phase wattmeter, where this set is called as one element, this set is called as one element or element 1, and this set is called as element 2. That means in order to have the net deflecting torque in a three-phase wattmeter, the net deflecting torque produced by an individual element is directly proportional to the power measured by each element. That means the net deflecting torque produced by element 1 will be equal to TD1. The net deflecting torque produced by element 1 is equal to TD1, which is proportional to the power measured by this element only, which is proportional to power measured by this element. In the similar case, the net deflecting torque produced by element 2 is proportional to the power measured by that element, right? That means what is going on? In this condition, the net deflecting torque produced by each element is considered to be directly proportional to the total power measured by that element, right? But in this case, as both the coils are connected very much closer to each other, we may tell that there is an error due to mutual interference between these two coils. That means as both the moving coils are connected on the same spindle, we are assuming that, or we can say that the error is caused in this instrument due to mutual interference. That means you can see here we are having a spindle structure, where on the spindle structure we are having two types of moving coils or two sets of moving coils like this. That means we are saying that there is a mutual interference between these two coils. We are saying that there is a mutual interference between these two coils. Due to this mutual interference, there is an error occurring in these two coils. So the main reason for error occurrence of error in three-phase wattmeter is nothing but due to mutual interference. So in order to isolate this error, what we are doing, we are placing a laminated steel. We are placing a laminated steel between these two coils. We are placing a laminated steel between these two coils. That means by the placement of a laminated iron in between these two coils, we are isolating the error due to mutual interference. And in the other case, the error due to mutual interference can be minimized with the help of placement of compensating resistor. So this is the other method. We can compensate the mutual interference simply by placing a compensating resistance Rp. Simply by placing a compensating resistance Rp. That means in order to eliminate the error, we are placing a laminated iron core between the two coils to eliminate the mutual interference. In the similar way, we can reduce the mutual interference error, or we can reduce the mutual interference at the initial stage by varying the compensating resistance Rp. Right? So as we have studied that the net deflecting torque produced by the each element is proportional to net power produced in net power measured in each element. So what can we write now? The net deflecting torque in element 1 is proportional to the net power measured by that element. So what's the net power measured by that element? So the net power measured by that element is nothing but W1. In the similar way, the net deflecting torque produced by element 2, the net deflecting torque produced by element 2 is proportional to the power measured by that element, which is nothing but W2. So in order to have the net or overall deflecting torque on a spindle, what we are considering here, you can see here, both the systems are connected on the same spindle, where the element 1 is producing a deflecting torque of TD1, right? And the element 2 is producing a deflecting torque of TD2, right? That means these two torques, TD1 and TD2, will cumulatively give the net deflecting torque on the spindle, which is required to move the spindle, which is nothing but TD. That means the net deflecting torque is produced mainly due to TD, where TD is nothing but the deflecting torque produced by element 1 and deflecting torque produced by element 2. That means the net deflecting torque produced on the spindle is directly proportional to the sum of the deflecting torque produced by element 1 and element 2. Am I correct? That means the net deflecting torque produced on this spindle is equal to the sum of the individual torques produced by element 1 and element 2. That means the net deflecting torque is directly proportional to sum of deflecting torque produced by element 1 plus sum of deflecting torque produced by element 2. But in this case, what we are saying that the deflecting torque produced by element 1 is proportional to the power measured by that element. In the similar way, deflecting torque produced by element 2 is proportional to the power measured by element 2. Therefore, the net deflecting torque TD is proportional to W1 plus W2, where W1 plus W2 is nothing but the total power measured by the three-phase wattmeter, where W1 plus W2 is nothing but the total power measured by three-phase wattmeter. That means your deflecting torque TD is proportional to total power measured by the wattmeter, right? So depending upon your mechanism, that means spring control mechanism or gravity control mechanism, you can derive the relation for deflection in the pointer. That means as the spindle is connected to a pointer, you can calculate the deflection in the pointer. So if I am going for a spring control mechanism, what is our condition? The deflecting torque is equal to controlling torque. So what is your final relation? Theta is proportional to W. Theta is proportional to W. That means the net deflection shown by the pointer is directly proportional to the total power measured by the wattmeter, where the total power measured by the wattmeter is equal to the individual power measured by each element. Okay? Now we will discuss the extension of range of wattmeter by instrument transformers. That means when we want to extend the range of a wattmeter, what is the necessity connection or what is the necessity modification we are doing in a wattmeter in order to increase the range of the simple single phase wattmeter. So let's see this diagram. In this diagram, we are having a simple wattmeter connected over here. This is nothing but a simple wattmeter connected over here. Now, in order to increase the range of the wattmeter, what we are doing, we have connected a current transformer and we have connected a potential transformer. So the current transformer and potential transformer are connected in this manner. How they are connected? The primary of the potential transformer is connected in parallel with your load voltage. That means the primary of your potential transformer is connected in parallel with your load voltage, and the secondary of your potential transformer is connected in parallel with your pressure coil. It is connected in parallel with your wattmeter pressure coil, right? And the voltage across your wattmeter pressure coil is nothing but Vs, which is nothing but the secondary voltage across your potential transformer. In the similar way, the primary of your CT is connected in series with the load. The primary of the CT is connected in series with the load. That means the current flowing through the primary of the CT is nothing but I, and the current flowing through the primary of the CT is I, and the secondary current flowing through the CT is nothing but Is. That means the current flowing through the secondary side of CT is nothing but Is. Now, depending upon the load conditions, we will calculate the extended range of your wattmeter. That means this load can be a lagging load or this can be a leading load. This can be a lagging load or this can be a leading load. Now we will discuss the phasor representation of this extension of range of wattmeter and how you are minimizing the errors due to potential transformer and current transformer. That means whenever we are extending the range of wattmeters, there is an error produced due to potential transformer, where the error due to potential transformer is nothing but del. That means the voltage across the secondary of your potential transformer, that is Vs, will lag the voltage across your load. That means that this Vs will lag this voltage. And in the similar way, the current across the secondary of your CT will lead the current across your load. Right? That means those are nothing but the errors which I have represented here. Let's see here. So this is nothing but del, where del is nothing but the phase angle error of the potential transformer, where the phase angle error is nothing but we are saying it as leading. We are saying it as lagging. In the similar way, theta is nothing but the phase angle error of CT. We are saying it as leading. That means the current in the secondary of CT will lead the current in the load, right? In the similar way, the voltage across the secondary of PT will lag the load voltage. That means depending upon these conditions, we will do the phasor representation now. Now what we are saying, let us take the condition for lagging load. That means the load is lagging in this condition. So whenever we are having a lagging load, what we will have? The current will lag the voltage. With an angle of phi. That means if I am having a load voltage of V, as the load connected over here is a lagging load, the current will lag the voltage by an angle of phi. But we know that as we are going for a potential transformer and current transformer, the secondary side voltages and the secondary side currents are phase shifted by 180 degrees. That means the error due to potential transformer and the error due to current transformer should be, so the error due to potential transformer and the error due to current transformer should be represented with the negative projection of your primary side voltage and primary side current. That means the negative projection of this voltage is like this, which is nothing but minus V, and the negative projection of the current is like this. That means we are simply projecting the voltage vector and current vector into negative projections. So this is nothing but current. Now we will represent the potential transformer error del and the current transformer error theta with respect to this negative projections. Okay, that means what I am saying, the potential error caused in the secondary of your potential transformer is lagging your source voltage by an angle of del. That means this is nothing but lagging direction. Am I correct or not? You are taking in clockwise direction and it is said to be lagging. What we are saying? The error due to potential transformer, which is nothing but del, is mainly lagging the voltage vector. That means it is lagging the source voltage vector, which is nothing but V over here. It is lagging the voltage vector. So lagging means like this. So what is this vector? Voltage across the secondary of your PT. So what is the voltage across secondary of your PT from this diagram? It is nothing but Vs, as I already mentioned, and you can see in the diagram also. Vs is nothing but the voltage across the secondary of PT. They are connected in parallel. So this is nothing but Vs, right? And the phase angle difference is nothing but del. And the phase angle difference is nothing but del. In the similar way, the error due to current transformer, the phase angle error due to current transformer is nothing but theta, where I am saying that the current will lead the source current by an angle by theta. That means the secondary current through the current transformer, this current will lead the actual current value, load current, by an angle of theta. That means this is nothing but the secondary side projection of the current, negative of I. Now what I am saying, it will lead the current by an angle theta. That means Is will lead I by an angle of theta. So this is nothing but Is. Now what I am saying, Is is leading I. Is is leading I by an angle of theta. So these are nothing but the errors caused due to potential transformer and current transformer. Right? Now, as we have already discussed that in the previous session, we assumed that the inductance of the pressure coil is 0. Inductance of the pressure coil is practically to be 0. But in this condition, suppose if we assume that the inductance of pressure coil is existing, suppose if we assume that the inductance of pressure coil is existing, then we say that the current through the pressure coil is lagging the voltage Vs, because inductance is having the property of lagging nature. So what I am saying, the current through the pressure coil is nothing but Ip. The current through the pressure coil is nothing but Ip. Suppose if the pressure coil is having some inductance, then what we are saying, the pressure coil current is lagging the source voltage or the secondary side voltage across your potential transformer by an angle of beta. So see here, what I have mentioned here, the current through pressure coil is lagging the voltage Vs. Why it is lagging? Due to inductive nature. Due to inductive nature of the coil. That means in practical condition we assume that the inductance of the pressure coil is 0, as we discussed in the previous session. But if I am considering that the pressure coil is having small inductance, then we assume that beta is the phase angle difference between current through pressure coil and so voltage across your secondary of PT. Now what I am saying, it will lag the source voltage, it will lag the secondary side voltage by an angle of beta. That means where is the vector? So this is nothing but Vs, right? So what is Ip doing here due to inductive nature? What is Ip doing? Ip is lagging your Vs. Ip will lag your Vs. By what angle it is lagging? It is lagging by an angle of beta. It is lagging by an angle of beta, right? So what is going on? It is lagging by an angle of beta. And I have already assumed that the phase angle difference between current through current coil and current through pressure coil. So this is nothing but current through pressure coil. So current through current coil and current through pressure coil are having a phase angle difference of alpha. So this is nothing but alpha. Okay, this is nothing but alpha. That means this is nothing but projection of your voltage and current. That means this angle is equal to alpha. Why? Simply I am projecting my projections into reverse direction. So whatever the angle present over here is equal to the angle projected over here. Now what will be the value of phi over this condition? The value of phi is equal to del plus beta plus alpha plus theta. So see here carefully, phi is equal to del plus beta plus alpha plus theta. So this is the formula for phi. Now we will discuss in the case of leading loads. That means when we are having a leading load connected over here, what is the nature of the instrument, we will discuss now. So let us consider a leading load. Let us consider a leading load. So in both the cases of lagging and leading, the properties of CT and properties of PT will not change. That means the error due to PT is mainly due to voltage drop and the error due to CT is mainly due to magnetizing component. That means the properties of CT and PT will not vary, but only depending upon your load condition, your correction factor will change. Now see here, we are having a leading load. That means what is the condition for leading load? Your current is leading the voltage. In the case of leading load, your current is leading the voltage. So in this case, as the current is leading the voltage and according to the property of transformer, we should have projections of your secondary component. That means when this current is going like this to primary, the current through secondary will have some projection which is by an angle of 180 degrees. So we will have negative projection of your current, I, negative projection of your voltage, which is nothing but V. And as I have already said that the phase angle error caused by the potential transformer, the phase angle error caused by the potential transformer is lagging by an angle of del, and the phase angle error caused by the current transformer is leading the actual current by an angle of theta. That means in this case, we will have again phase angle error due to potential transformer and current transformer. But what I am saying, in potential transformer, the voltage lags the actual voltage. That means this voltage Vs is lagging the actual voltage V. This voltage Vs is lagging the actual voltage V due to phase angle error. That means where is the voltage vector? So this is the voltage vector, right? And what I am saying, the voltage vector, that means the secondary voltage of your potential transformer Vs will lag the voltage V. That means your voltage is lagging. Your secondary side voltage in the potential transformer is lagging. This is lagging voltage. By how much angle it is lagging? It is lagging by an angle of del. It is lagging by an angle of del. Now see, the error due to current transformer is nothing but theta. And what I said that the error due to current transformer is theta, where the secondary current will lead the actual current value by an angle of theta. So see clearly, the current through the secondary of your CT is leading the voltage in your load by an angle of theta. That means this is the current in the load. Now what is going on? The secondary current in your CT, which is IS, is leading this voltage by what angle? It is leading by an angle of theta. That means this is IS, where IS is leading I. That means current through secondary is leading the current in load by an angle of theta, right? Next what I am saying, since we are having a inductive nature of the pressure coil, the current through the pressure coil will lag Vs by an angle of beta, Why? We are considering that the pressure coil is somewhat inductive. Due to the inductive nature of the pressure coil, the current through the pressure coil is lagging Vs by an angle of beta. So that means this is nothing but Vs, right? So what I am saying, the current through pressure coil, which is Ip, will lag the voltage due to inductive nature by an angle of theta. That means the current through pressure coil Ip, the current through pressure coil Ip is lagging, right? Is lagging the voltage across the secondary of PT. So this is nothing but the voltage across the secondary of PT by an angle of beta. So this is nothing but beta, right? And I said that the phase angle difference between your current coil and pressure coil is nothing but alpha. That means the current flowing through current coil is Is and the current flowing through the pressure coil is Ip. As we said that the phase angle difference between the current coil and pressure coil is nothing but alpha. So this is nothing but alpha. Right? So this is nothing but your analysis of your diagram. Now what I want? I want the value of phi. In the previous case, phi is nothing but this value, and we have calculated the value of phi by doing some projections. In this case, phi is nothing but this value. So see here, phi is nothing but this value. It is nothing but the phase angle difference between your voltage and current. Now what is the formula for phi from this condition? Phi is equal to total phase angle difference. This is nothing but a total phase angle difference. We want this value. See clearly. We want this value. Means phase angle between voltage and current. We want the phase angle between voltage and current. So in order to calculate phase angle difference between voltage and current, what we have to do? From alpha, if you minus beta, del and theta, can you get the value of phi or not? See clearly. This is phi. We have done the projections of phi. So this is nothing but phi. So this is entire angle is nothing but alpha. So if you subtract from alpha minus beta minus del minus theta, then you get the value of phi, where phi is nothing but the phase angle difference between voltage and current. So now we calculated in the previous session, we calculated the value of phi for both lagging and leading loads. Now the correction factor K. Now correction factor K for the increasing the range of wattmeter is given by cos phi by cos alpha into cos beta. That means this is nothing but the correction factor K in order to have minimize the error. That means after minimizing the error, the correction factor done in the wattmeter is nothing but is equal to cos phi by cos alpha cos beta, where phi is nothing but the phase angle difference between voltage and current, and beta alpha is nothing but the phase angle difference between current coil current and pressure coil current, and beta is nothing but the phase angle difference between pressure coil voltage and current, right? So this is nothing but the correction factor. Now in order to measure the true power, the formula for true power is given by true power is equal to correction factor K into actual ratio of CT into actual ratio of PT into wattmeter reading. That means in order to get the true power value after extending the range of wattmeter, the formula for calculating the true power is nothing but correction factor K into actual ratio of CT into actual ratio of PT into actual wattmeter reading. That means what is the wattmeter reading in the before case, without doing the extension of the wattmeter, what is the actual reading? So this is nothing but the actual reading of wattmeter. So this can be simplified as cos phi by cos alpha cos beta into actual ratio of the current transformer is nothing but I1 by I2 into actual ratio of potential transformer is V1 by V2 into actual reading of the wattmeter is nothing but total power measured by the wattmeter, which is nothing but W. So true power is given by the formula cos alpha by cos phi by cos alpha cos beta into I1 by I2 into V1 by V2 into W. So again I am saying these errors are mainly caused, the errors due to current transformer and errors due to potential transformer are mainly caused due to voltage drop in the case of potential transformer and due to magnetizing current component in the case of current transformer. That is the main reason we are compensating the errors mainly caused due to CT and PT, right? If there are no errors caused due to CT and PT, then we will have coincidence of the currents through CT IS and coincidence of voltage vector Vs with respect to V and the current IS with respect to load current I. Okay, and then and finally we will calculate true power with the formula cos phi by cos alpha cos beta into ratio of the current transformer, which is nothing but I1 by I2, and the ratio of potential transformer V1 by V2 into actual reading of the wattmeter W. Thank you.